This is our big bandsaw over here. This is where we cut some of our big things to shape over here on the big bandsaw. So if we need to shape something that we don't want to spend too much time hacking at, we'll cut out a rough shape on the big bandsaw here. There was an old sawmill in town, and when the sawmill closed up and left town, they had all these big giant bandsaw blades that nobody knew what to do with. And my dad figured out that he could take those old bandsaw blades and turn them into knife blades. So this is where we learned to make our tools. Okay. And then so this is a showcase here, and these all the things you see in here were done by students or former students. The school purchased these things from students in the community and artists in the community. That thing where the art got taken away, it happened to everybody, you know, not just here, but Metlakatla. This community really embraced bringing it back.
There was a time when culture and heritage of our Tsimshian people, we weren't allowed to practice or to participate, and we didn't have a lot of knowledge of how to even do that.
We grew up in fearful of speaking our own language or being punished if we spoke our own language. And now this would be, you know, in the 40s and 50s when assimilation, the policy of the United States government was assimilation. But I don't think they did a good job of doing it, because a lot of us came back and said, no, we believe our culture is significant and has a lot to offer.
In this case here, these are both done by a former student, Tom Booth, Jr., and this is depicting a raven, and this one here is depicting an eagle, and oftentimes they're depicted together, and here in Metlakatla we refer to an eagle and a raven as lovebirds. And that was. My name is John Hudson. I have taken over recently the Northern Northwest Coast Native Art Program here at the Annette Island School District in Metlakatla. Art is a fantastic way to learn about anybody's culture, because if you dive into the reasons why the art was produced, how it was used, all those things give you a very reflective look on what the culture was and is. For 37 years, my father, Jack Hudson, or John Hudson Jr., has taught this program, and he's had tremendous support from the community and from the school board.
When I was 9 years old, my great uncle is a carver, and I would ride my bicycle across town to his house and watch him carve spoons and bowls and small masks. He'd occasionally let me help him by helping him sand some of his projects that he just finished carving. Watching him take a block of wood and transform it into this beautiful, elegant piece of art was just amazing to me. And the fact that it was relevant to who I was as a member of the Metlakatla Indian community, as a Tsimshian Indian. I continued on with my working with Jack Hudson in Metlakatla, learning how to do the designs, to compose the designs, and to be able to read and tell stories, to compose the stories into design. The piece I'm working on right now is a rattle. This is carved out of yellow cedar, and this is kind of my take on rattles. It's a bit contemporary, but I still try to follow the traditional forms. And with this one's called Hindsight. So he's looking forward sternly, and then he's looking back a little less pleased with the results.
I'm originally from Ketchikan, Alaska. I am Tlingit. I learned to do the wood carving I do by doing it. Just always being curious about it, interested, having grown up around it. In Ketchikan, they have the few totem poles parks around and totem poles throughout the community. So just watching and doing. When I started carving, and if it's a totem pole, I'm telling somebody's story, so I interview, I need to find out as much information, and from there I create a design to tell their story. But when I'm doing a mask, I get the idea, the picture in my head first, and I go find the wood that'll do what I need to do. We don't have as many young people getting into it as I'd like. We just finished the fine arts camp. I was working with them for 2 weeks, and there are people, but as trying to get somebody interested to really learn about it. Always hopeful that there'll be somebody coming along to really learn.
This is a bowl that's not all the way hollowed out that I'm working on. And it's going to be a halibut, but I keep it in the bowl because I have not hollowed it out yet. A lot of what we do is just kind of reflective of our environment, and the things we depict most often are ravens and eagles and killer whales and wolves and things that I think were in everyday life. But other things is within our clan system, and a lot of the students come to class saying, well, my auntie so-and-so or uncle so-and-so would like staff with a wolf or an eagle on it because that's their clan. And so we do things to hold our clans up and to show recognition for our clans.
This is the wings, and I've kept it pretty well damp. And the reason for keeping it damp is so that a lot of the work would end up being a little bit more cleaner. Now this is called Thundering Wings, and this one is fit onto the new eagle. The old eagle has had some rot pockets in it, and this one is going to be just a dash different, though the eagle head, everything is going to be put on here, and then the wings are going to expand out and then have a little bit of a curvature to it. Generally what I do is lay out a drawing. When you lay out a drawing, if it's going to be a certain size, you lay out the drawing accordingly. You get the figures that you want on it.
I was taught by Jack for 2 years, I think, and he always had a system of, he had a lot of steps in order to work up to carving and all of that. Well, everybody when they come into the program has to learn about ovoids and U-shapes and how shapes fit together, and a lot of the time the meaning of some of the things you put together, like an eagle or a raven or other clans.
Without learning the design aspect, you wouldn't have anything to carve. So the students really need to have a full grasp and understanding of the Formline art. One of the big things I get questions from students is, I know this is my first year, can I carve? Sure, draw something up. Oh, I don't know how. Okay, well then we better start there, because if you can't draw something up or design something, then you don't have anything to carve. So that's a big part of it, is the designing. And some students pick up design, it comes really easy to them, and some of them it takes a little longer.
My raven dancing hat. This I carved about a year and a half ago for a raven song that my dance group does. This village has more artists that are skilled that can do this than anywhere else that I know of. And it's mainly I attribute it to Jack Hudson's class, now John Hudson's class, because they have the skills. It's just a matter of having the time to do it.
We have a program here called the School to Work program, and this year we did individual killer whale fins, and we put them on a stand. My job right now is to keep training artists and to keep teaching them so that they can be out in the community and know what to do, and that they can train other people. And I see that. I see students and former students in the community designing button robes for the dancers and making masks and rattles and things.
The Tlingit, Haida and Tsimshian people have the spiritual relationship to the land, and we define that as our core cultural values. What are the main cultural values that make us distinct from other people? So it's really important that our culture be maintained, and not just the value itself, but also the practice of it.
They're there because they're proud. They're not there because they have to be there. They're there because they want to be there.
And it's evolving slowly. I see it growing with the times, and I see it becoming more and more prevalent.
It's good to be part of it. This is really how I feel connected to it.
And I guess the easy answer is it's our identity. It's our identity as Indigenous people.